I get shit done, I have fun, it's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.
The critical data lessons every business must learn. Hey, welcome. I'm your host, Coach Phil. This is the Business Renovator. If you're watching us live, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. And if you're watching us on a replay, hashtag replay, let us know where you're watching from. If you got feedback, comments, questions, send them our way. We'll do our best to respond to everything and everybody that we get responding to it or asking us or leaving a comment. Oh yeah, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Business Renovator on the YouTube channel, and tell your friends, because you just never know what one idea may come from one of my guests that could make a difference in somebody you care about, no matter where they are in the world. In the meantime, I need to do a shameless plug. This is how I keep this afloat. The good news about that is actually it's free, no credit cards required. It's a 30-minute complimentary coaching session after you've done the business growth score. You might find that after you've done the business growth score, which is available from coachphil.ca, right on the main page, there's a button at the top. Click on that, complete the assessment. It might just confirm that you're on the right path, nothing to do other than stay the course. Or you might be somewhere else. You might be struggling in an area and want to ask somebody about best practices, some ideas around that. That's what you could leverage the 30-minute coaching session for. Again, no credit card required. All you just need to do is let us know that you found us on the Business Renovator, and that's your access to myself. And the other thing is if I can't help you with your particular concern, we have a network of coaches around the globe, and I'm sure that I could find somebody that could assist you with a question you have. So don't be shy. Take advantage of that. So speaking of taking advantage, I'm taking advantage of a nerd. This guy, I've known him for quite a while. Yeah, I don't exactly remember the years. I think it's 15, 16 years, something like that. Anyway, he came from the frosty forests of northern Manitoba to digital pioneer his ability to be resilient as a techie, as a nerd, as somebody who helps in the don't get hacked world, which you'll find out a little bit more today. So he entered the tech world in '94. He transformed early challenges into cybersecurity vanguard. And after graduating from DeVry Institute with a computer science degree in 2003, he actually turned his passion into thriving tech business by 2005 and began his own personal life with his lovely bride, so which means he's a father and a husband and an all-around good guy and a tech nerd. He's got 16 years. He was at a franchise in the tech space. That's where I first met him. And he first saw firsthand how digital woes can topple businesses. Oh, ain't that the truth? So we're going to ask Mike today to share some of his tales of grit from the time that he was telling me about a $5,000 gamble in investing in equipment, trying to make it work in his early days, and then learning from that disaster, he broke away to start don'tgethacked.ca. So we're going to have Mike come up and talk to us right away. I'll bring him up now. Hey, look at, where's my background gone? I screwed up. Look at that. Anyway,
hey,
welcome
Phil,
here.
How are you doing?
I'll fix the background.
Thank you.
That's craziness. Wow. Let's be the first question. What do you like about being a nerd in the tech space? Because you've been there a long time.
Helping people troubleshoot problems. I've done, when when you're in business or just, there's all those personality tests out there. I can't remember all the names of them, but there's so many different types of personality tests.
Right.
Every personality test I take brings me back and labels me some sort of mechanic or troubleshooter or hands-on person. That is literally the description of what I do. It doesn't matter if it's computers or like household maintenance. I'm not mechanically inclined with vehicles whatsoever. So that's one skill I've never really grasped. I'm in my 40s. I've never really grasped car mechanics, but I may sort of know what the problem is. But computers, electronics, other type of things. I think I grew up in the 1980s, and back then there's no YouTube. So if something didn't really work, you took it apart, attempted to put it back together, and gave yourself a pat on the back if it worked. And most of the stuff back then was super simple and easy, and you could like resolder stuff yourself. Things are so much more complicated now, but I think realistically, just hands-on, and that's just how I kind of ended up with. I like the term nerd, even though it's associated with my former franchise. At the end of the day, I think if you look in the dictionary, nerd means it's actually in the dictionary, and it says that you're high IQ and very brave at taking on challenges and solving stuff. So it doesn't really necessarily mean computers. It can be applied to many other facets of life.
Well, while you're doing that, I thought I would go in. I'd never looked up nerd in a dictionary, so here I go. I'm going to do it right now. And nerd is typically defined as a person who is passionate about intellectual pursuits, often to the exclusion of other activities. Nerds are often associated with expertise in a specific field, such as technology, science, or academia, and may have a deep interest in topics that are considered a niche or unconventional. The term is sometimes used affectionately or as a badge of honor by those who embrace the enthusiasm for knowledge.
Badge of honor. See, I knew I always liked the word. Doesn't mean you have to wear glasses or anything like that either, because throughout my career, people, when I had my former franchise and that word was in the name, they're like, don't you feel offended if somebody calls you a nerd? And I'm like, no, because I'm a professional. I show up, I solve your technology issues, I make sure that you're 100% satisfied, and that's how we build lifelong customer base, right?
Yeah, so you're still in the crazy nerd world, just as this definition described. You fit that to a T based on my experience of hanging out with you. What's the biggest challenge that you're seeing for business owners in and around tech? Or maybe there's two.
Well, at the end of the day, when you start, just like you, Phil, I do a lot of networking events because I'm trying to promote myself, promote my business. Coming out of the pandemic, there's so many more people who are working on being self-employed. They have experience with it, maybe they don't. And at the end of the day, my customer base is either going to be an established business who's been in business for 10, 15, 20 years and has employees and they're profitable, or that's going to be attracting newcomers to the business realm that are trying to learn how to be business owners. And at the end of the day, you've got do-it-yourselfers everywhere, because what people do is they buy something new. They want to learn it themselves. Sometimes they have the intellectual acumen and the amount of time to learn it themselves, and sometimes they don't, and they get frustrated with it. So I find at the end of the day, technology is always going to be one of the, doesn't matter if your business is small or big. if you don't have the proper technology in it, and you don't have, or it's not been implemented properly, or it's not been documented properly, it's going to be one of the main bottlenecks that prevents your business from scaling. So it doesn't matter if you're trying to get to, you know, a brand new business trying to get to 5 figures, or going from 5 to 6 figures, or trying to get up to 6 to 7 figures per year. Technology and systems is always going to be one of the fundamental drivers of that scaling. And a lot of, you know, unless you can find the right people to implement the right systems and train you on those systems, you're going to just be spinning your wheels. You know, there's social media, there's CRMs, there's podcasts, there's how do I invoice a customer, how do I get paid? Like, all these systems now in 2024 are all run by technology. And if you have no patience for it, you have to find somebody who you get along with who does have the patience with it, and for it to train you and baby step you through that process. So
would it be fair to say that majority of established businesses are aware of that, and they have some sort of strategy, and where there's a bigger challenge might be within the smaller upcoming, and they, like you say, they listen to the people in the store, they trust them, they got a trusted advisor, they buy what they buy and then they install it on their own. Then they start running their business, but they're still their own IT guy or gal.
Exactly. So as I said, it doesn't matter if it's, you know, if you're a small business, like usually anybody under, I'd say, that 5 to 10 employee situation likely is doing everything themselves, or the owner's doing it, or there's some best friend or business partner who's doing all the technology stack, and it likely isn't working. And that is what is stalling their business from. They keep running into this. They keep running into the same problems, whether it's HR issue, or accounting system issue, or this issue, or this issue. And then with the larger companies, usually that I do consulting for, like mechanical service companies and plumbing companies, they've hired people to put systems in place. And when those systems haven't been documented or implemented properly, they're going to break at some point. And then business comes to a complete stop, or maybe they're not using it effectively enough to make sure it pays for itself. Because at the end of the day, if it's hardware, it's usually one-time capital expense, unless you're leasing it. Software is always going to be monthly subscriptions, and a lot of people have a lot of angst against monthly subscriptions, especially if they're paying for something and they don't feel that there's any ROI on it because it wasn't implemented properly.
So in your company, Don't Get Hacked, is that one of the things you help them do? Do you like to do an audit of what they've got?
Yeah, at the end of the day, our business is called Don't Get Hacked. So of course we want to ensure businesses don't get hacked. They have proper cybersecurity, proper data documentation, and proper backup. So in case of any type of emergency, we can put their business back together within a defined time frame based on how urgent their business is. So when we're onboarding larger customers, like companies with more than like 2 employees, when we're onboarding those, we're auditing everything that they're using, because I know that they may have one pain point. They say, this system just doesn't work. And then it's a result of, if you look at the underlying problem, there's 4 or 5 other issues that are actually causing that one system problem. But if you don't have the technology or software background, you can kind of point your finger, well, I think the issue is this. And then I'm like, well, hey, you brought me one issue, and just me doing a 30-minute, maybe, 30-minute to an hour audit of their systems, their computers, their internet, their email systems, whatever they're using, because every business uses different technology. We can do, and one of our tools is doing like a external penetration test. Well, they'll do other type of tests in the, on the computers, on their email system, and they'll be like, hey, you've told me you have one problem. I'm looking at about 7, and they're all interrelated. It's like, it's no different than the health of your body. Like you say, hey, you go to the doctor, you're like, I have this problem, but that problem might be the end result of 5 or 6 other problems building up.
So do you do like I recommend, because maybe not everybody's in the world where they can reach out to talk to you. So would you recommend that whenever anybody's talking to a nerd, that they check to see if they have the ability to do a comprehensive, cost-effective systems analysis or audit? Would you recommend that as a starting point, or am I off base there?
Well, I would recommend that they go to our website, don'tgethacked.ca, and reach out to us, because we will provide a complimentary upfront 30-minute conversation with them, because I know at the end of the day, I would love to help every business owner out there. But at the end of the day, I want to at least guide them to say, these are the questions, you know, if you feel more comfortable hiring somebody in your local town or city or whatever, or you already have somebody and you want to actually audit what they're doing, we'll give you questions. We'll give you questions and like a checklist to go through to verify your systems are actually set up properly. We could do remote check. We can remotely help you check on certain things, and you know, document, take photos and send that documentation to us. Because what I'm finding at the end of the day is not every person in technology, not going to bash anybody or bash any company, but the depth of your skill set when it comes to technology varies widely. When I had my other franchise, how many technicians did we go through? Probably like 24 in the 16 years that I was there. I typically, you know, we'll do ongoing training with our technicians, but I find sometimes, you know, usually you hit that 6-month mark and then you realize that technician may not really be, they've been fixing computers their whole life, but are they actually, are they willing to learn, and do they have a deep enough skill set to actually troubleshoot business technology for a business that has more than, you know, 5 employees? Because technology troubleshooting is very stressful, and when everything works great, you're like, yeah, I'm on the top of the world. And when a business calls in and their email system doesn't work for 50 people, and the computers aren't working, you know, and this and this and this, like it can be very stressful. I don't mind it, because I know we'll get to the root of the problem. Somebody messed up summers and turned something off, or some hacker got in, if it's a big problem like that. And you know, and I've done enough remediations with companies that size that I have a step-by-step process. But how, you know, I don't have companies with 50 employees calling me every day. So, you know, I'm looking for more customers like that. But at the end of the day, this is what we do. Companies come to us and say, I've got this problem, and I'll do like a 30-minute complimentary consultation with them to say, you know, here's your 4 or 5 issues I see. Sometimes they don't have the budget. They don't even have any money. You know, if they're a startup, sometimes they have, I'm like, here's the do-it-yourself steps to get you started. And when you're ready to invest money in having a professional help you and make sure that you've got proper backups, you know, check in with us in 6 months and we'll see how you're doing.
So as a business coach, I would encourage them to, at some point in time, to actually look at what's the cost of being your own IT guy versus having an outside professional do it. What I found is, one is I'm not a nerd, and that frustrates the heck out of me. It actually de-energizes me, takes me away from what I'm best suited for, and I'm not serving my clients because I'm hijacked by technology. So I have a technology team that helped me with a variety of different things.
Okay.
Would you say that would be something you've found from the tech side that you talk about with your customers?
Well, I do, because there, you know, I have my own podcast called Business Speed Dating with MagicMike.com, and that's one of my questions to business owners out there is, who is Since I started Don'tGetHacked.ca, August 1st will be 3 years, so we're coming up on our 3-year anniversary. My real quest is, I'm like, in order to build this business, I need to find the size of customer that is perfect for our service, because I know the size of, from my previous franchise, I know how many, what type of, what size of businesses were coming to ask us for help. And I'm like, I need to meet more people. I want to find out at what point are business owners doing their own, if they're tech savvy enough, at what point are they doing their own do-it-yourself tech support versus hiring out. I'm finding that if they fully admit that they have no tech support or ability to do tech support for themselves, usually it's their spouse or somebody in the family doing it, that will get them to about 2 to 3 employees, realistically, based on like 70, 80 interviews I've done. Others burn through technicians every 6 months. So they've learned to do this. Is when I was talking about depth of technical skill out there. You can call up any Tom, Dick, or Harry down the street, but doesn't mean they know how to. Doesn't mean they know how to doesn't mean your personality is going to get along, and doesn't mean they have the skill set to, we do Linux, Windows, and Mac troubleshooting. Not every technology company out there, not every IT support company out there handles a wide variety of tech support calls we do. But I've also have 20 years professional experience, and I've been ripping apart stuff since 93, 94. So I have my 10,000 hours in almost every computer operating system and device out there, right? So I feel very confident with my skill sets. And then what I find with, usually a business, 10 employees or more will have, or close to have, they may have level 1 tech support who knows how to reboot a computer, reboot a printer, change toner, basic stuff, and they will do a lot of Googling. So, of course, anybody who, any size of business who comes to us, we will definitely help them out. We're focusing on larger companies, 10 to 50 employees, where I know they're going to need a full-time tech support company, but I've also found the market in Canada, those are usually, it's either really small organizations or huge corporations. I have not been finding a lot of businesses over 10 to 15 employees locally here. So, but maybe it's just my networking groups that I'm attached to. So,
yeah, it could be your marketing needs a tweak or two, but yeah. We're not here to help you with your marketing. We're here to pull out of your cranium some intel. So, to me, it sounds like you're quite diverse in what you can support, and I think that's pretty cool in today's world. If somebody was going to make a change in going to upgrade technology, do you have any sage advice that you would depart upon us?
If they're looking to upgrade the computer, like I'm finding right now that customers are, most people don't replace their computers every 2 to 3 years. Most businesses I'm dealing with, at least in the Alberta, Canada market, they're pushing their hardware 10 years before they upgrade. So, because I sell a lot of I sold computers last week. I sold computers this week. Everybody's using 10-year-old stuff. So buy as much as you can afford, especially when it comes to speed and storage space, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of manufacturers of computer hardware. There is a lot of low end. The computer world now is the same as it was 10 years ago. You can buy a low price computer, you're going to get what you pay for. You're going to buy a high price computer, you're going to get what you pay for. But at the end of the day, it's also, I really stress warranty. I know a lot of people don't like the word warranty. I like it with computers because when I sell, for example, a Windows computer, I want it to be a Dell because I know we can choose a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 year extended on-site warranty. What that means is if you have any problem, you don't have to pay me for a service call. You call, if you want, you'll call Dell and spend an hour on the phone with Dell troubleshooting. And if Dell confirms there is a problem, they will send a technician on site to you within a business day or two and usually swap out the computer or whatever part needs to be done. So your future cost of operation with that machine is very low because you're not paying for a break fix technician to come and fix it for you. Desktops usually are less problematic than laptops are. I know a lot of people like laptops, and a lot of people will drop laptops or spill water on laptops or spill wine on laptops within a year of ownership. And of course, your warranty doesn't cover accidental damage or unless you're paying extra for accidental damage or insurance. So it's one of those things. If you're not really sure, just because something's on sale at the store does not mean it's a good deal. Sometimes that stuff's been sitting there for 2 years, nobody's bought it, and then they lower the price just to clear it out. So
Cool. So I want to help people find where you're at, and I'm gonna bring an image up, and it's going to look like craziness, but I'll bring it up anyway because it is what it is. So here we go. Bring it up. Okay, bring it up. Oh, there it is. Well, it's actually not quite as crazy as I thought it would be.
okay.
I thought we were going to have the mirror upon mirror upon mirror, but it's having that effect. And what we're looking at here right now is your LinkedIn profile. This is where they can come in and learn a little bit more about you, connect with you, send you messages, ask you some basic questions in there, probably set up. Actually, you've got an offer on there, book a 30-minute discovery conversation via Zoom. So you could go there. That's just for being here. You've been now introduced to Mike the Nerd, who is Don't Get Hacked guy. And let's go to the other site, which is Don't Get Hacked. It's right there. So this is your website. There's contact information there if they want to skip the LinkedIn and they just want to go right to where you are. I see you've got an emergency line. You've got to fill out a form for non-urgent tech support. You can book a session, 24-hour, 24/7 remote technology support for business owners using PC, Mac, and cloud services. It's pretty broad. So there's also all your different locations, Calgary, Dubai, US office, your list of services, press kit, podcast, and brand sharks, whatever that is. I don't know what
it's
that is.
It's my first book, Brand Sharks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Let me click on that, see what happens.
I think it goes to my YouTube channel.
Chapter 1. There we go.
I made my own audiobook. I read I'm sitting in the Calgary Petroleum Club in the podcast studio, and I'm reading each chapter of the book to you. So
Cool.
That's how that goes.
Okay, very cool.
When you're marketing yourself.
So if there was one thing that you would impart upon our users, I'm talking like a computer tech users, our audience, what might that be?
Oh, that's a good question. Backups. The first thing I ask anybody who, I want backups, because our business name is called don'tgethacked.ca. Hackers are not the only thing that's going to mess up your data and cause you to lose picture. Like, one of the most frequent requests we get is, I've lost my files. And in certain situations, maybe we can magically restore those for you, but at the end of the day, you're gonna, as a user, as a technology user, no matter what you use, if it's a mobile device, a tablet, a laptop, or desktop, the odds are once a year you're gonna lose data. There's like this statistic on the internet. I've referenced it before in other like magazine articles and podcasts I've done, but once a year, every year you'll lose a piece of data. So that it could be email, it could be contact information, it could be picture, it could be something more devastating. How are you backing up your stuff? Are you using like a thumb drive or online backup system? We're in 2024. You need to know where you're how to back up your stuff, because there's user error, there's flood, there's fire, there's theft, there's hackers, there's all these disasters of that. You know, when you encounter a disaster, what do? Humans get stressed out, and then they start making decisions which could negatively affect things important to them. But you know what? If you've got backups of your data, that's one less thing you have to worry about. It's like having an insurance policy on your house or your car or anything like that, right? You want to have a plan so your data is one, you know, you don't even have to worry about it if you know you got backups. That's my main. People can, you know, if you don't have strong passwords, people will get into your stuff. But if you've got your data backed up, it doesn't matter. You can always restore it. But if you don't have backups, you can't go backwards. You can't. There's no way to get that stuff back unless you have a plan to recover it. Then.
So what I heard,
go ahead.
No, that's okay. What I heard was this.
Backup. When I was in, when I there's a networking group years ago I was part of, and I was like, they're like, you sound like a broken record. Backup. I'm like, at the end of the day, it's the only thing that saves your bacon is backup.
Yeah, they sound familiar. Backup and bacon. So if you want to bring home the bacon, make sure you've got it backed up. So on that, I'm going to wrap this show up. Michael, thank you for being here. Hang out for a little bit. I mean, we want to scratch the surface of the significance of what you do and what, you know, what's relevant around tech. But I appreciate you hanging out and sharing a bit of your knowledge with us and our audience. We'll talk to you soon. So that was pretty informative. The couple of things is have a system checklist with yourself. Maybe get your tech support people. If it's not there in place, maybe have them create one for you. If they have one, get it to you. Or if they don't, go where we pointed you out to, go hang out with Don't Get Hacked and talk to them about getting a checklist checked out from that point of view. What I would like to do is leave you with my normal ending, and that is this. I want you to continue being wonderful, because you are unique and truly are wonderful. Until next time, I'm your host, Coach Phil. This has been an episode of The Business Renovator.
I get shit done, I have fun, it's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.